Welcome
Right.
everyone to our second edition of the Wii U Mad podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm just going to let everyone introduce themselves. Go ahead, Tavis.
Hey guys, my name is Tavis Tate. You guys know me from the Facebook group. I'm pretty active on there. If you guys watched the first episode, you guys pretty much know a good chunk about me. But to recap, I go to high school. I'm in ROTC. I recently just got promoted to staff sergeant. So things are doing good there. I'm a competitive Street Fighter 4 player, and that's pretty much it.
And all right, Tim, you can go next.
Hey guys, glad you can make it to the podcast today. I'm Tim Queen from the Facebook group. Most people know me for posting some really obscure games in the game content. Basically, uh, I currently graduated in 2011, and I live at home with my parents.
Give me a second. Sorry. I had to do that.
I'm sorry, we're having a little bit of difficulties. Hello. And we have T. Hey, T, can you turn off your webcam?
I can't. Can I?
Yeah, there's a button right at the top there.
Okay, top right. Oh, damn it. Adult Swim games. You're so
Make sure to
noisy.
keep your language clean. Excuse me. Make sure to keep your language clean, please.
All right, so this is the most sloppy opening we have done so far, but whatever. Let's just move on ahead. T, why don't you just introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Trent, and you're probably not going to be watching this entire 1 hour video because you're too busy watching 2-minute videos of Pikachu farting. You know? Those flash animation thingies.
I've actually not seen that, but on the side, let's hope our podcast is not more than an hour and a half or so. All right, so I'm just gonna have Tavis give the weekly update or bi-weekly update. Go ahead, Tavis.
Not too many games coming out this week. The only one that is coming out this week, which will be dropping on Tuesday, is Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. I hope you guys are excited about that, just like me. I will be picking it up on launch. It'll be dropping for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It's a sequel to Persona 4 Arena, which, if you're not familiar with that, it's a fighting game which is a crossover between Persona 3 characters and Persona 4 characters, which with one new character, which is Sho Minazuki, which is in the sequel, of course. And I'll be picking this up on launch, and yeah, that's the only thing coming out right now.
And Hyrule Wars just got released yesterday, so that too.
My bad.
And Friday. Also, I'm surprised you missed this. Friday, Smash Brothers 3DS.
Oh, for Japan, yeah.
No, for everyone. Japan got it like a month and a half ago.
It came. I thought it comes out on October 3rd.
Yeah, that's this Friday.
Oh, okay, my bad. Even more sloppy for me. My bad.
Everything is your bad and so sloppy it's like butter. No, I'm not. Sorry. My apologies. I'm tired.
Oh, okay. So, moving on to the first topic, which is Tavis, what is our first topic?
Our first topic of the week will be happy birthday, Nintendo. Nintendo turned 125 a few days ago. And I would like for you guys, and of course myself as well, to talk about our favorite Nintendo memory. Whoever would like to go first? I'll volunteer if anyone wants to.
Hey, may I?
Trent.
May I?
T, you all choked up? Go ahead.
Why, thank you. I did not grow up much on Nintendo. In fact, the first ever game console I ever owned was a Sega Saturn. And even then, that was given by a friend. All I really did my entire childhood was play with Legos and watch Thomas the Tank Engine and just enjoy my life as this kid with no cable. I didn't watch 90s cartoons, yeah. But anyways, me and my brother used to play Super Mario Sunshine a lot on the GameCube. I got the GameCube as a a reward for getting straight A's on my report card, and I played Mario Party a lot. I think that was the first GameCube game I've ever played, and I've played Super Mario Sunshine a lot, and along with this Sonic collection, but that was for the PlayStation 2. We got others for the GameCube, and we got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the for the GameCube as well. We played a lot. Me and my brother played a lot of it, and my brother got so mad that when I won that he would hit my head with the GameCube controller, which wasn't good at all. But yeah, I like Super Mario Sunshine. That game was so much fun, but it's not linear. I'm sorry. I'm a run-of-the-mill kind of guy, and I don't want to have to complete every single mission just so I can defeat Bowser. Why can't I just rip open the gates and then get into Bowser? I don't want to live in an island filled with a bunch of conservative freaks that hate you for being Italian. Like, seriously, I think the Delfino people are conservatives.
I never really attached a political agenda to the guys with trees on their heads, but yeah, I know. Like I know how you felt when with the all sibling competition. Oh, for me, it wasn't my sibling. It was my cousin. He used to like punch me in the shoulder all the time. Every time I whipped his ass in NHL. But yeah, that's not one of my fondest memories. However, the one of my fondest memories is going to Ontario Place. This is a music park in Canada, in Toronto, Canada, where they had a little Nintendo area where right in like this, it was like a dome-like building. I forget what it was called. Anyways, that's when I first tried out the Super Mario 64, and my mind was officially blown. That game looked so pretty back then. I was completely hyped to own the system and play it. I also remember that was the first time that I had to deal with machines that when they were turned on, the joysticks were not calibrated accordingly, and it always went to the left or always went to the right, and it was incredibly hard to play with, and no one knew what caused that until like a few days later. So go ahead, Tavis. What's your most fondest memory?
My fondest memory of Nintendo, which if you guys saw the first episode, you'll probably think, oh, the N64, its first console, but actually it wasn't. My fondest memory of Nintendo would have to be the first time I played a GameCube, which was at my grandparents' house when my cousin Will, he had just got Smash Brothers Melee, along with Pokemon Coliseum, but the one that I really cared about was Melee. And the moment I put my hands on that game was pretty much the moment, like, in my head where basically I knew I was going to be a Nintendo fan for the rest of my life. And later that year for Christmas, that's the only thing I wanted for Christmas was a GameCube, because this was 2006 when the Wii came out. So, even the PS3 for that matter. But I wanted a GameCube because I wanted to play Melee, because at this time, I still had my N64, because I was only like about 6 or 7, so I really didn't care what console it was, I just liked games. But I wanted a GameCube that year for Christmas, and when my parents got it for me, I was super stoked, super happy, and it's one of the fondest memories I have of being like really small, just playing Melee every day. And even to this day, I have lost all of my GameCube games, and the only two that have survived it all has been Soul Calibur 2 and Melee. And Melee to this day is still my favorite game of all time, and just proves even more, just every day, how much of an amazing game it is. In fact, today I just went to a flea market just to go find a GameCube controller to come home, clean it, and get back to playing Melee. Because I love the game and I've been playing it ever since I got it that Christmas. And I love Melee, and Melee is like the game I always think of when I think of Nintendo, because it just reminds me of why I love it so much.
Lucky for me, I'm back at home. I'm right now living in New York, but back in my home, we still have a lot of our GameCube games: Melee, Sunshine, Strikers, Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog. I enjoy Shadow the Hedgehog. I don't care what anyone says.
It's a good game. I don't know why people hate it. I think that's the
Can I explain why people hate it? Because it's an
guts.
understandable reason. The final segment. So wait, who's speaking?
Go ahead.
Thank you. But the reason everyone seems to have such a distaste for it is because of how you have to unlock the final story and the fact that a lot of the missions are really hard to go through, especially with the ones where you have to backtrack. There's no radar or anything that ought to help you complete your mission, and it'll take 20 minutes, and it will get really boring, and all the atmosphere. It doesn't help that the atmosphere is so whatever because it's all gray and dark and whatnot, especially when you're searching for that damn fourth Chaos Emerald. If you catch my drift. But it's still a fun game nonetheless. But that is just an opinionated thing, and I guess I'm just saying this to sound cool. But no, I genuinely enjoy it the same way that some guy would enjoy um, having sex. Not like sex, because I'm sure sex is a lot better than video games. Not that we've all ever had. Have you had sex? Has anyone here ever had sex?
Yes, but we're not talking about that.
Okay, well I'm
So,
pretty sure sex is better than video games. Move on.
Timothy, go ahead.
Um, my favorite memory of Nintendo really is the fact that my first game as a child was Donkey Kong Jr. Math, in which you go around as Donkey Kong Jr. and you got to collect the basically you got to collect the numbers on the screen and solve a math problem to free your dad. Um, I thought, at the time, being so young, it was so entertaining just to have that pure experience, even on a Nintendo Famicom, no less.
You
Um,
had a Nintendo Famicom when you were like a kid? How did
yeah, my parents had one.
your family did a lot of foreign stuff?
No,
Oh,
we
oh,
just picked it up, oddball. Um,
oh.
so some more of my memories, because I have like lots of more. Um, my grandfather actually had two really good games, two to three really good games. I talk about it on Facebook all the time. An NES title called Star Tropics. It's actually a first party RPG made by Nintendo EAD. Um, it's actually, aside from being so linear, it's a really good RPG. I think everybody should play it at least once. The game has so much content to it that it alone is just really miraculous. Two more actually, because I have a lot of memories, a lot of good memories. These are NES games too. My grandfather also had two more games. One would be NES Open Tournament Golf, which I'm sure a fair amount of people have this already because of the Ambassador program on the 3DS. Um, it's a really, really good NES golf game, and it's what got me into sports games. The other game being Wario's Woods, which is available in the eShop as well. Um, the fact that Wario's Woods is a puzzle game, but it feels like much more in the sense that you're Toad and you go around and picking them up physically. You pick up the pieces and you drop them and match them and get the lines gone. Um, all three of these games are a reason why I love the NES so much, and the reason why I got into gaming in the first place. So thank you very much, Nintendo. Your quality content made gamers across the world who they are today.
All right, thank you for that, Tim. All right, what's the next topic?
The next topic we have will be Watch Dogs for Wii U will not be receiving DLC or season passes.
Tim, do you want to go first on this?
Oh boy, yes I do. You see, I don't know what everybody else that stands out there watching the podcast or whatever is on Ubisoft, but I have a long history with the Ubisoft games, especially because I started off on the PlayStation with the Rayman. Um, what I feel is this. Nintendo may not have the best third-party support, and they may not have relations with third parties as well. They may not have good ones anyway. Um, but I think personally, this is a case of I want to say laziness because this game has been out literally for over a year, and they didn't give us anything. That seems a little bit fishy because why wouldn't you want people buying your game on another console to have more bang for their buck? It doesn't make any sense, and ultimately, they're only hurting themselves. And this is just with any situation like this. Ubisoft just refuses to give mature gamers the chance to play on a Nintendo console because they think we're all little kids and our install base is not serious gamers. Uh, what they don't know is I don't think they can be on Wii U with just dance forever. You can't float your boat on one or two games. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel.
Yeah. No, I agree with a lot of what you said. Thomas, what's your take on this?
Personally, I wasn't really planning to pick up Watch Dogs myself. I was actually excited for it, for the Wii U version because I watched this one video. I forgot. I think it's from YouTuber Rule Two Reviews, and he was talking about how the Wii U version, can have so many good possibilities because you can use the gamepad for like like the hacking and stuff in the game. I thought that would have been a very original idea, and they could have taken advantage of that. And really, they would have put all their effort into making like Watch Dogs maybe a Wii U exclusive. It could have done really well for the Wii U, and even for Ubisoft if they were willing to take that risk. But since they're not giving us DLC or season passes, which really doesn't take any effort to give us at all you have to do is just slap it on there. It's sad for people who really did want to buy Watch Dogs because I believe last episode Bear Hugger was interested in buying Watch Dogs for the Wii U, and now he doesn't have, or in the many others that really did want to get Watch Dogs for the Wii U is out of luck because now there's no DLC, there's no season passes, so they're basically getting bare bones for the full price of $60. And in my opinion, it's a ripoff. I think it's foolish, and Ubisoft is making a really bad mistake by just abandoning a full portion of their fan base right now.
Yeah, it honestly, this speaks this speaks this whole Ubisoft debacle kind of clears a lot of what's going on in third party industry, and it's just like or third party like video game industry right now. And it's really silly. The Here's the thing: if everyone's listening to this right now, this is the real reason why Nintendo has bad third-party support, and it's not Nintendo's fault. Um, it's the very fact that third-party developers do not want to develop for a gamepad. That is pretty much it, and um, it's gone to the point where companies need to be as political possible to find an exit strategy to stop developing for Nintendo because of this. Because they don't want to be exposed for creating games that are not creative at all, and they want to use every excuse out of the book. But this is all it comes down to. They can't bullshit me, and I apologize for my language, but they cannot lie to me and get away with it. I know what their game is. I know why they're what their main goal is. They want to make games with small incremental improvements, refresh the story, and then spit it out back at you. And that's what Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed look like every year. and this is just the reality of things. So like and the thing is that it's gone so bad that Ubisoft is forced to take a loss on this, and they will take a loss because this game will not sell on the Wii U at all, and it's nobody's fault but Ubisoft's. This is such like a ridiculous show of respect to Nintendo's fan base and to Nintendo themselves. This is just absolutely ludicrous. They had so much opportunity to present the Watch Dogs game with so much creativity, with so much uh, like just like just basically they could have improved it so well. They could have enhanced the gameplay. It could have been what Rayman Legends was on the Wii U versus other consoles. Even more past that. And I'm not just saying this because it just has a touchpad. There's more stuff that could work really well. The gamepad could have been used as the cell phone. It could have been directly seeing what Aiden would be seeing on his cell phone, going around and accessing uh, or the CTOS. And you know what, Ubisoft, you don't deserve it, but that's a free one. If you take that and use that, then even though you're stealing my idea, at least you're applying a good idea. Your games are really getting boring and just dull, and frankly, I'm losing interest in your company, and I won't be buying another one of your products anytime soon. Because frankly, when I tell people that instead of looking for mature games, sure, I like mature games, but instead of mature games, I'm looking for mature publishers. And Mr. Guimont, with you being dishonest, you are being far from mature. And frankly, the Nintendo console's better without your games. All right, what's our next topic?
There's one more thing that I would like to mention after you said that.
Yep.
If anyone remembers watching a video made by Shokio a long time ago about, these devs are making, excuses about, we don't want to make games for the Wii U because of the gamepad. Just don't use the gamepad features. Like, Shokio made a video on this. There's games that Nintendo has made themselves where they didn't, use the gamepad features, such as Mario 3D World. It used it slightly, but not very heavily. There was one mission where you like blew into the gamepad, but that was really it. And like there's a few of them where you use the gamepad. And then like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, where as far as I know, that game doesn't even use it at all. And there's also, there's one video he also made recently about, if you don't want to make games for the Wii U, don't make excuses about it. Just be straight up. Like there's devs out there, which I can't remember off the top of my head because I remember just Shokio talking about it in the video, where he said, the devs just basically said, forget the Wii, we don't want to make games for it. And, those devs I can at least respect because they're at least being honest with themselves and they're not lying to their consumers. Now, on the topic of Ubisoft, the only game, like, truthfully, I'm really excited for is Far Cry 4. Outside of that, like, I'm pretty much not interested in anything else they have to show because not only are they, becoming, EA by the days, but also just because, they're just making excuses and just being foolish, and a lot of their games are just getting very, very repetitive.
Hmm.
Um,
And not having a gamepad presentation on a Nintendo console only highlights that fact even further.
yep,
Now,
and
I'm sorry, Tavis, I interrupted you. Was there anything else?
nothing. I was just about to get head on to the next topic about Fatal Frame 5. Excuse me, Fatal Frame, Fatal Frame 5, tongue twister.
All right, go on ahead.
Alright, this should be pretty brief. The only thing that, needs to be mentioned is that Fatal Frame 5 will be streamed today on Nico Nico, which, if you're not aware of what Nico Nico is, it's basically Japan's version of Twitch TV. So, if you guys want to check this out later today, check it out. And also, this wasn't in the notes, but it also came up today that, Fatal Frame 5 is actually pushing units out in Japan, and which this will also go into our next topic. People are actually buying Fatal Frame 5 with Bayonetta 2, and there's many Japanese gamers that are saying, they're happy, that there's more quote unquote mature content coming to the Wii U, and that was the reason why they didn't buy it sooner.
Can I Can I talk about my topic or the whole numbers issue with the Bayonetta right now? Is that all right? Because this would be a good way to start off this conversation.
Yeah, after that, we'll also want to mention before that that Bayonetta 2 also got a perfect 10 out of 10 from Edge magazine, and that's the only thing I really want to mention before then. After now, we can just go into the sales conversation.
All right. Okay. Can you click on my image right there, Tavis, so that this shows up on the screen right here for everyone to see?
Right? Should I just click on the green arrow?
No, just click where on my name right there.
All right.
All right. Okay. So this information came from Dark Warrior. He made a he made a YouTube video on this, and it really raises a lot of well, it just basically it shines a really good light on what's going on. Okay, so let me just give you a heads up on what's going on. When they reported the sales, Bayonetta was released on one day before the weekend, according to the sales how the sales are calculated and shown to everyone through either NDP or whatever. Uh, now, the just going the whole thing I'm going with this is that Bayonetta 2 sold more on its first day than than the PS Bayonetta did on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 on average. Now, let me just explain further. For Bayonetta on the PS3, it sold 93,000 on the first week, but only 3 days were recorded on that first week. So, as you can see there, 93,000. The average per day was 31,000 copies. Now, Bayonetta 1 on the Xbox 360 sold 45,000, and it also, because the game was released on March 31st, 2010. It had three days of sales records before the people who track that documented how much was sold. So 45,000 divided by 3, 15,000 copies per day. This is our average per days. Now the Wii U was one day before week's end, and it sold 38,828. Now I want to present the next item on here, and thank you just for staying with me on this one. This comes from VG Charts. Now I know VG Charts is not 100% reliable, but just hang with me here. The main point is that even though the numbers are not completely accurate, they're accurate to a point where I can start making an argument here. The Wii U sold 1.91 million units in Japan. And so, let me just jump out here. That's 2 million. Now I'm just gonna go and head on back to right here, and I'm just going to highlight how much the PS3 has sold right now, and I'm going to leave it to your judgment, but I'm going to make a number, and you guys can let us know in the comments what you think. But right now, the Xbox 360, and I'm trying to find it here. Oh, here we go. The Xbox 360 in total has sold 83.19 units in total, where the PS3 has sold 83.48. So this and Bayonetta was sold back in 2010 March. So that's 4.5 years ago. So I'm going to put in a 50% estimate here. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about this. But I'm just going to put 50%. I'm going to say they sold 40 million. They had 40 million units out. And now I'm not 100% sure if Bayonetta 1 had those units sold worldwide on the same day, Bayonetta 1. But if that is against what If that goes against this three, put in the comments, and let's create a conversation over this. So let's cut it 50%, 40 million units each. And if we go back here, 40 million is about 20 times more unit. It's 20 times more units than what Japan has right now. And Japan, these are just the numbers in Japan right here. Right here, this is just 38,828 in Japan. So if this is worldwide, then this will speak stronger. If it's just Japan, hear me out. So Bayonetta 1 sold 38,828. It beat a system, both systems, per day, average per day. Then those systems had a 40 million, roughly, install base. Now, when people say that Bayonetta sold terribly, yes, if you compare it to Mario Kart 8, yeah, it kind of did sell low. But if you were to compare with Bayonetta 1, then this trumps that argument. Bayonetta 1 Bayonetta 2 in comparison to Bayonetta 1 sold better in a limited region, and with the system that has a far smaller install base. So, like, I mean, I'm not saying congratulations to Nintendo. I'm not saying congratulations to Platinum, although they did make a good game that got rated 10 out of 10 by Edge, which, frankly, I'm not fans of 10 out of 10, but everyone tells me Edge is a very strict rater, so, yeah, no, like, when this game comes out to North America, it's probably it will have more sales than overall. Like, I'm not saying within the first week, I'm not saying with the first month, I'm saying, like, overall, by the end of the Wii U's life cycle, it will have sold more Bayonetta 2 copies than Bayonetta 1 copies, probably for both systems of the 360 and PS3. That's just my guess. Who knows? Let's let time tell on this. But frankly, the attach rate, which is the amount of units sold divided by the number of systems installed in the install base, is much higher with the Wii U than Bayonetta was with the other consoles. All right, and but so that's just the end of that. What is your guys' thoughts on this information?
Personally, I just think people just trying to figure out the way to word this in a professional manner. In my personal opinion, what I feel that people should do is, I need to figure out how to piece my words together first. So,
Enjoy
Tim,
the
would you
game.
like? I haven't bought it yet, but I do plan on doing it. And at the end of this, I would like to talk about my thoughts on Destiny now that I've got to play it, but that's later on in the podcast.
All right, Tim, what do you
Tim,
think about these
I'll let you do that.
numbers?
I actually think the numbers are really good, from what I just heard. Yeah, I like this situation. All this hype about Operation Platinum is only gonna make sales go up more. So we do need that hype, and we for this situation, because most people say it's a really good game. Go ahead, go pre-order right now, and just get ready. Just get ready.
I just got the information here. Um, the actual game Bayonetta 1 was a worldwide launch. So that is like, here, I'm going to go screen share and just highlight this right now. Right here, this is come from Wikipedia. So, like, I mean, if anyone in the comments have other information that goes against this, Wikipedia is saying that it had a worldwide launch on March 31st, 2010. Oh wait, no. Okay, I gotta look into this further. Well, Travis, why don't you take a peek here? I misread this document. Just give me a moment here.
Now that I've been able to like kind of word the sentence that I wanted to say earlier, um, I think what should be done right now is just stop bashing the game when it's only been out for what 2 days now, 2 or 3 days in Japan. Japan is generally not a console, I guess you could say, um, country. They usually prefer arcades or handhelds. Therefore, if you're looking at their console sales, usually doesn't matter what game it is, the console sales usually aren't, extremely quick. So you need to give the game time because, like I said, it sells slow in Japan because they are not into home consoles. Therefore, since in the first 3 days, and it's been 40K, probably more by now, and 30 and I almost said 30 days. In 3 days, 40K in a country that is usually not very console friendly. That's very good, and it does bother me that people are bashing the game, especially IGN. If you look on IGN right now, like IGN is like looking at the game like it's selling like trash, and it really does irritate me because usually I'm not a very big IGN hater because usually I'm usually a pretty big fan of IGN and I like IGN most of the time, but personally I feel like this is very foolish that we are bashing a game in terms of sales anyway. Um, in a country that's not very you know too high on console games, and that's all I really want to say on it. Just don't bash the game when it's only been 3 days into it in a country that's not very high on consoles.
Now, I do want to give a correction to my information here, and I apologize for the for my failed research skills initially, but the game was originally released on October 29, 2009 for the Xbox 360 in Japan. It was later released in January 5th North America and January 7th in Australia and January 8th in Europe. So it was various days. So my bad on that. Don't hate me too much or hate me. I don't care. Now, because now they're just comparing the Japan sales, I want to be fair to the even though that I truly believe that the game's value is not based on how much it sells. I know Bayonetta 2 is a good game. I'm only addressing this because this debate has been going around on the internet. Regardless, the numbers on the numbers in Japan's right here state that the Wii U beat Xbox 360 and PS3 in Japan. Now, Japan, there's only 1.6 Xbox 360s out there. So my attach rate argument does not work in that sense. 10.10 million in Japan, cut that by 50%, and, well, yeah, you could say the attach rate with the PS3 was higher than the attach rate with the Wii U's version. So,
Also, keep in mind that this is when the PS3 was just starting to pick itself up because it was failing for 3 years straight, and this is
yeah,
just when it was picking itself up.
that's true. That is true. Anyways, that just want to present those facts. And sorry for my a couple of missteps in my research here. And yeah, uh, honesty is my thing. So let's jump on to the next topic if we're done here. Are we done here with that?
That's pretty much it.
All right, perfect. All right, the next topic I want to talk about, and this was discussed today with on the Wii U Mad group, is, and I want to ask you guys in here, do you think that Smash Bros. 3D or Smash Bros. For the 3DS should be docked points on by reviewers because it is confined to the 3DS controller?
Uh, I honestly don't know how to answer that question because personally, I'm not looking to pick up the 3DS version of Smash, and I'm only getting the Wii U version because that's the only version that interests me. So I don't really think that should be a question I should answer since that's nothing of my interest.
Fair enough,
So
fair enough. That's good. Appreciate your honesty with that. And yeah, the Wii U version is definitely a great, great version. I see it right now as the superior version, not just because of the graphics, because of the various controls that are available. What about you, Tim? What do you think the 3DS version of Smash Bros. Should be docked in the review scores because of because it's because you have to use the 3DS for it. Tim?
Personally, uh, that's really something I would be up in the air about because, I make reviews and I try to be as thorough as I can, but I from the demo I played that I got from Club Nintendo, I really legitimately did not have a problem using the 3DS to play the game. Most people do want a controller for their Smash experience, so I guess that's what the docking of the points comes from because they're so used to using like GameCube controllers and Wavebirds and it's just well, what I have to say is just that from a perspective of the player, I don't really think it's that much of a problem. There has been some articles surfacing that the 3DS demo and the full game for Smash is destroying people's circle pads. So I guess you should dock a little bit of points.
And
That,
and I see your points. Oh, was there any more to say? Sorry, did I?
no, I was just saying that's a huge problem.
Yeah, like when the it definitely is a huge problem. Like people, like a lot of gamers like myself, were very impulsive when it comes to operating controls, and that sometimes causes damage, not only on the 3DS, but I knew a bud who used to destroy their GameCube control rubbers, like the rubber on the analog stick. It used to destroy it every time you played, and it got really bad. Um, and I could see how the 3DS itself wasn't meant to take that kind of abuse. Luckily, I've calmed down from my early years of gaming and don't and now know not to like go crazy with my 3DS when playing Smash. Um, the one thing I just want to talk about, like regarding this, and it is a gray situation, but I honestly truly think that um, the 3DS game should be judged for being a 3DS game, and not being judged for a game that's on consoles as well. In terms of like say like sure, like the GameCube control, everyone here can most likely agree that, and when I mean here, I mean in the comments in the Facebook group, that the GameCube controller is the best controller for Smash.
or
I
in
agree
general.
with that. Yeah, or in general, um, that's debatable, but like I kind of like the Wii U Pro controller, but for Smash, I love the GameCube controller. I do not feel comfortable playing with the classic controller plus. I do not feel comfortable playing on. I don't think I'll be comfortable playing on the gamepad. The the GameCube controller is my favorite controller. That being said, I hear a lot of talk, especially from game trailers and many people, even Game Explain, dock Super Smash Bros. For 3DS as a game that like they dock their opinions and their and well, not their opinions, but they dock the scores because of the way that the buttons are shaped, or the LNR buttons shape, or the lack of comfort that comes from the 3DS console when playing Smash. And I feel that that is more of a criticism against the system itself as opposed to the game. I don't know. What do you guys feel about that statement?
Like I said,
I think.
I don't have a
Uh,
3DS, or nor do I have the demo, because I don't
Okay,
have a 3DS. So
okay, but that aside, Tim, go answer first. And
I personally don't think that in the long run it will be much of a problem aside from the circle pad abuse. Because people can learn any control scheme for any device. As we've seen, people can play Virtual Boys. So really, in the long run, it's not going to be a problem. Right now, it's a problem because people just got the game and their circle pad is getting so abused that they can barely even play the game anymore, let alone professionally. And that's what a lot of fighting game fans know and love about fighting games, is that they love to compete. They love the passion of just sitting down and trying to beat his opponent.
I don't think.
So
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
really, this is not gonna hurt the game at all. It really ain't. But it's just something that Nintendo should think about if they're going to make another Smash Bros. For the new 3DS or this 3DS in the future is what I want to say.
The there's a lot that I want to address regarding what you said about competitively, and um, in terms of like the For Glory option, the only people I see playing For Glory on the Nintendo 3DS version of Smash Bros. Is people who don't have the Wii U version. I don't see
Yeah.
people. I don't see people. I see people playing the 3DS version casually with a bunch of people and not getting too crazy over it because of the smaller screen, the lesser precise controls. And again, I'm aware that the hardware itself is not fully suited for Smash Brothers, but it should not dock the game, in my opinion. Um, I would definitely say that the opportunity to break the circle pad is something that would be docked in an alternate way to do smash attacks, such as what's going to be available with the new 3DS and the C stick nub thing that's going to be offered. That will definitely prevent a lot of stuff. But what do you guys think that the the alternative? Do you like, you know how when the Nintendo Wii was released and there was a lot of Wiimotes going through television screens and whatnot, so they had to attach a rubber to the the Wiimote to prevent like any damage of like TVs or whatever. You remember that, right?
hmm
So what do you
Yep.
suppose can happen with the this thing? Like, what do you suppose Nintendo could do with the Circle Pad with the older 3DSs, or do you think they're even going to do anything about that?
I think they should just make a patch update and make the Smash 3DS just be compatible with the Circle Pad Pro. That way, it could just kill a lot of the problems people have, because everyone's missing that C stick, and I think if they add the Circle Pad Pro as it being compatible via patch, everything will be taken care of in terms of that.
What about you, Tim?
Um, I think that would be a good idea. Will we know if they do anything? Probably not. Um, but I kind of agree with what Tavis said. What I want to address is an alternative. They could do what they did with the bundle for the Wii U and somehow make a peripheral controller. if it becomes so much of a big problem in the future, is what I'm saying. But they could also offer from their because Nintendo each region, mind you, has a store online, like an exclusive store. They could offer replacement rubbers because like the ones you could easily put on the circle pad, and then it wouldn't be a problem anymore.
That would be a really good idea. That would be a fantastic idea. I see that idea having a well, I'm not going to say greater or lesser chance. That idea I like. The circle pad patch I also like, and I agree with as well. My only concern is that can that actually work? Now, the only reason why I'm suggesting if this can work or not is because the 3DS is already pushing its memory bounds with the 3DS game, and this has become more apparent since the exclusion of Ice Climbers, as well as the every time you turn on and off your the Smash Bros for 3DS, the actual system has to reset, and that is why it takes so much time to get to turn on the game as well as turn off the game, is because the memory limitations on there. Not to mention the CPU is much slower. So I'm not 100% sold that it is possible to hook up a Circle Pad Pro to the system because of the hardware limitations. But then again, that's that that's just a theory. We don't know until Nintendo says anything. All right, so let's jump on to our next topic here. Are we just ready to wrap up?
That's just about it for the Nintendo news, and I want to make sure we give credit to mynintendonews.com for that. And now we're on to the Sony news.
All right.
And just to start us off, um, technically this could be Microsoft news as well, but I mean, let's be real here. You know, Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts is mostly associated with the PlayStation console. Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually progressing along extremely well. Nomura stated that the progress is indeed not frozen and is going according to plan. He last excuse me, he lastly stated that Final Fantasy 15 is halfway done, so about 50% done. So after he's done with that, it's all about Kingdom Hearts 3. Anything?
I actually think that since Kingdom Hearts 3 and like the franchise in general is so well loved by its fans, and even I've played a bit of 2, and I've beaten the first one and recoded for the DS, and I actually think that this is actually it's gonna come out as they planned. It's gonna be a big hit, and really, they need to bridge a gap between Cage 3 and FF15, so they can give people time, play the game and beat the game. Then they can move on to their other products.
That's pretty much the same way I feel about it as well. Personally, it was Kingdom Hearts, being one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time. I'm really excited for it, of course, because actually Kingdom Hearts 2 is my second favorite game of all time. I love the story, I love the characters, I love the game in general. In terms of Final Fantasy 15, I'm excited for that too. Uh, and um, um, uh, oh, sorry about that. My mic, I thought my mic was messing up. Um, Final Fantasy 15 is I'm also excited for as well. But yeah, just give us something to bridge it with. That's all I want. Cause if I can just play them back to back to back, I'd love it. But I know realistically that probably won't happen.
All right. Cool. All right. What's next on our agenda?
Let's see. Sony made in a recent interview. I'm not sure with who, but I got this from PushSquare.com. But Sony said that Project Morpheus, which is their VR headset, which is competing with Oculus Rift, will seriously change game technology.
I don't see Morpheus succeeding. I'm more convinced that Morpheus will sink Sony into further debt. I'm more convinced that Morpheus will result in the PlayStation brand being sold to someone else. I don't like the problem. The reason why I'm saying this, and just before all the Sony haters or Sony lovers come hate on me, is that whenever you have a VR headset, you are excluding your interaction with everyone else. Your sole interaction is with that particular screen right now, and you are not able to see anyone around. That would not is not comfortable for everyone. In fact, it's not comfortable with a lot of people, especially if you live with a real jerk or whatever. The second thing that is again just holding back the VR technology is that the it is when you're inviting a couple friends around to play video games and you have these VR headsets. Uh, it's not it's not very fashionable. It's not including a social setting. Like, sure, if you want to play online games with this and lock your door and make sure no one's around you, yeah, sure. In that case, it'll work. But I don't see this becoming a trend. I don't see people going out spending 100 to 200 bucks on this headset to make it work. What I see is VR technology working well in arcades in the future, but I see that this Morpheus or Oculus Rift would be more of an arcade attraction with supervision, making sure no one is like pulling any weird stuff. And I just do not feel for a moment that this is going to take off at this time, unfortunately. What do you think, Tim?
I personally think that you know, this is the case, and I'm speaking generally when I say this. With any new technology, the majority of the fan bases are going to be skeptical about it. What we need is more information about it. We need to know what games they plan for it, and we need to know how much it's going to cost, like finalized, like legit cost. I do think there is a chance that this may revolutionize gaming, but I don't see it being a focal point of gaming. Is what I want to say. Uh, we you know we've been proven wrong as gamers in the past. We've seen that when gaming was revolutionized back in the PS2 era with the iToy camera. We were wrong. We didn't think that motion gaming would ever come, and it did, and it worked pretty well for the time. So I want to keep it really optimistic and say that anything is possible.
Personally, my look on it is honestly, while I am hoping that it works out for Sony. Realistically, looking at it, I honestly don't think it will, because like let's just look at all of Sony's peripherals they've ever made in the past. How many of them like truly took off and succeeded outside of the DualShock?
Yeah, that the one the you talking about like the all the motion controls that had like for the PlayStation Move and the
Yeah,
six axis controls, right?
just in general, because a lot of people forget that the DualShock actually started as a peripheral for the PS1, and then it just became their standard controller. But like outside of that, like there has never been a successful peripheral that Sony made outside of the DualShock ever. The iToy, that flopped unfortunately, which blows my mind that that flopped, but the Connect is well, it did well. So motion controls obviously took off with the Wii. So like it just it I don't want to say it saddens me, because it really doesn't sadden me, but because this wasn't anything I was really interested in, unless they had something that I was super interested in, which from what I've seen in like conferences and stuff, it's like underwater explorations and like there's like this one game where similar it's kind of similar to Star Fox, which you're actually in the R wing, I guess you could call it, but it's not Star Fox, but it's similar to Star Fox. Um, but really, I just see this flopping, unfortunately, because first off, the Oculus Rift pretty much has the VR headset game on lock, so no one's going to be touching the Oculus Rift. Plus, devs have already been working on the Oculus Rift for anything that they did want to do with VR, and I guess they could port it to Project Morpheus, but the Oculus Rift will probably have the superior version since they've been working on it for much longer. And honestly, this just doesn't look good for Sony. Oculus Rift pretty much has the VR game, and they've never had a successful peripheral. So honestly, I just don't see Project Morpheus taking off, which is probably why they didn't even really mention it that much at E3. Which, if I'm not mistaken, did they even mention Project Morpheus at all at E3 this year?
They did, but it was working with EA with that Luge game and all that.
Okay, so
But
like,
it wasn't. I don't think it was part of their presentation. I could be wrong, but there was interviews about that. Well, there was interviews and private showings of Morpheus.
okay, so that just pretty much it makes it sound like Sony's afraid to show it themselves. That they're not even brave enough to show it on their big conference at E3, which is of course the biggest conference of the year, hands down, no questions asked about it. That is the conference of the year. That is the one that sets the tone for the rest of the year. Like if you have a bad E3 press conference, it's gonna affect you a lot throughout the year. And if you don't believe me, just look at Microsoft, and they were afraid to show it there. So I just I don't see the Project Morpheus working out for them at all. To be honest with you, I think it's gonna flop. It's wasted money, and it's just gonna drop Sony more down the toilet. If I was Sony personally, I would just sell off all my divisions and make it all about the PlayStation, because everything they're selling now is just terrible. Their smartphones are just getting outclassed by Apple and Samsung. Same thing with their TVs. They're getting blown out the water by Vizio, Samsung, LG, etc. And they sold off their Vio division, so they don't even have. Well, they don't really have the computers anymore. So basically, the only thing that's really giving them any justice at all is the PlayStation division. If I was Sony personally, I would sell off all my divisions and just make it all about PlayStation. But that's just me. Because Sony right now is just doing horrible, and Project Morpheus that they're working on is going to do even. It's just going to put them even more in the toilet.
Yeah, I agree with you definitely. That I I believe Sony needs to sell this off. Um, and take all their technology with the Morpheus and sell it off. I do not see it being taken off or taken off. I don't see it becoming a successful peripheral. And like again, and this has become very evident with some of Nintendo's products as well. But people are very resilient to change. Something like this is going to. I think it's going to be too much change for people in terms of making a. I just don't see it working. Long story short.
I don't either.
All right, what's our next topic here?
The last topic for Sony, it kind of coincides with the first topic, and it was basically that the Final Fantasy 15 demo was announced. It's called Final 4, and it will be packaged with Final Fantasy Type 0. I guess I could start off with a conversation on this one because, while I don't have a bit to say, I have a little bit to say.
All right, well, that's more than I do. I'm not really much of a Final Fantasy person, so I'll let you guys take the floor.
Personally, on this, it might sound, I guess you could say, quote unquote fanboyish, because I'm not even gonna lie, I love JRPGs, and while Square Enix has done me wrong in the past, I just keep coming back, and I just can't help myself. I love them too much, you know, and I think that now that they've gave us like this demo, of a game that we've been wanting to play since 2000. Well, a lot of people have been wanting to play since 2006. They're giving us just a taste of it. I am like really debating purchasing a PlayStation 4 just to play the demo. I also want to play Type Zero because I've never played that before. But like I'm really like on like I'm truly debating, picking up PlayStation 4 just to play this demo because I've been wanting to play Final Fantasy 15 ever since it was called Final Fantasy Versus 13, and it's just really pushing me to do it more and more. I think about this demo, especially when the more I read about it, it can last anywhere from 1 to 4 hours, which is crazy for a demo. And I can just see myself playing that demo just over and over and over again until like Uncharted 4 comes out. And it's just I get more excited about the demo the more I think about it.
I have to say, long demos are really good. Like for instance, let's take a look at Smash. I know people have played 24 hours of that, of the Smash 3DS, and it's an incredibly limited demo. And to have a game that provides at least a few hours of a demo conveys so much about the game, in my opinion. What about you, Timothy? Are you a Final Fantasy person?
Yeah, I'm a bit of one. I actually legit like what I see from this, but personally, until I see more or anything, I probably not gonna jump to next gen just for Final Fantasy. That's just me.
All right.
All right.
What's
So
our what's our next topic here?
that wraps up the Sony news, and I'd like to give credit to PushSquare.com for providing us with the articles to talk about this. And moving on to the Microsoft news, which will be covering the Xbox news and the PC news. There hasn't really been very many Xbox news, so I could just kind of glaze over this. And basically, all we have is new trailers for Killer Instinct Season 2, which showcases PJ Combo and Maya. We have a new trailer for Halo's Master Chief Collection, which, as you guys know, is Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4, all remastered, all for $60 with online multiplayer. Um, and Battleborn, which I'm not sure too many people know about Battleborn, but it's basically think of Borderlands mixed with like Battlefield, and that's basically Battleborn. And it's looking to be very interesting from what I saw in the trailer. And that's pretty much it for the Microsoft news. And do you guys have anything you guys would like to say on that, or do you just guys want to just keep it moving?
I want to actually see more of Battleborn uh, before I make a judgment on that. Um, with third party hype being as high as it is today, and then not delivering on its hype, I just really want to see what's going to be like when it's released, and then talk about then.
All right. What about you, Tim? Tim?
Tim, I think
Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, I'm here. Just muted my mic so my noise don't get to you guys. Basically, I like what I see from Battleborn. I think it really does have a potential to be a really good title for the Xbox One and whatnot. And the same can be said for Killer Instinct as well. Um, a lot of people I know on Skype actually say DJ Combo is really broken. um, is what I really want to talk about because being a Halo fan ever since the first game, and ever since I got to taste it on the Xbox back in the day, I like to say that although not every game is special to me, the majority of them are, and having a collection of them for next gen is a really smart decision, especially with upscale graphics. Well done, 343. Well done.
All right. I like to mention that I have a friend of mine who's a huge Microsoft fan, like which is crazy because you don't really see very many Microsoft fans. So it's pretty, it's interesting to see one. At least for me, I've never seen very many Microsoft fans that are active outside of like Zaire on YouTube. And
Pulse E3 2013.
I gotta look him up later. Pulse E3 2013. I got it now. All right. But there, he was telling me about this, and he was telling me about basically just how excited he was. So I just want to just mention, how big of a deal this might be for actual Microsoft fans, you know, and I just want to give them a quick shout out because I know this is probably big news for them. But yeah, that's basically it. Anything you guys want to talk about before I head to the second part?
The funny thing is that I'm more attracted to an Xbox than I am to a PS4 right now. Um, Frankly, because there's only one title that that I know about based on its and the only one title I'm like would be looking for if I had the system is Little Big Planet 3. It's because I like creating levels, and I could say the same for Project Spark. But like, again, I played Little Big Planet 1. I didn't play Project Spark, and I do not know how Project Spark is going to work, and I want to see what I can do with Project Spark before I get really excited. And yeah, it's just this might be a little bit weird to talk about, but I grown very familiar with the characters that I have played with over the years with Nintendo characters and even some new characters that came out. Um, I don't see Microsoft having that kind of that much of a that same kind of iconic representation that Nintendo has. Nor do I see that like Sony PlayStation iconic representation gets abandoned a lot. So when I'd say that I want to get a Xbox over a PS4, I'm not really just trying to question that because I like playing with characters that I know it sounds silly, but like if the game could be great and like I played Teslagrad recently, and there's no iconic representation with that. It's just a character going through point A, point B to kill the villain and save the day, and it was a great game, and I loved it. But like I mean, there's not a lot of games that I see that really attract me that are on the PlayStation right now. There's more games I see that attract me on the Xbox, and they're not necessarily indie games. Although the previous versions of the game weren't all that great, and right now the name has escaped my mind, and I only remember the guys. Help me out here. That game was a four-player cooperative, and they have this that smart touch screen to fight against the guy with the smart touchscreen can adds a level of asymmetric gameplay, adding monsters again that fights the four players. Fables Legends. There we go. Yeah, that game appeals to me. I would see myself getting an Xbox for that game because frankly I'm a big fan of asymmetric gameplay, and I think if they pulled off well, Microsoft did a really good job in making a really creative version title.
Personally, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm very interested in getting Xbox One over PS4, mainly because of course, as you guys probably can catch by now, I'm a huge fighting game fan. So KI is something that I've really been interested in, especially when the more you see the game like in high level gameplay, in terms such as Evo or anything of the sort, you get to appreciate the depth of the game and I guess you could say the meta game of it. And it's a game that really has interested me in the past. The only reason why I haven't played it, well, I haven't played it at all yet because I've not been able to get my hands on it. But outside of that, I really would like to get my hands on Sunset Overdrive because I'm a huge Ratchet and Clank fan. I love Ratchet and Clank on the PS3 and the PS2, and I feel like Sunset Overdrive is gonna, make me. It's gonna be Ratchet and Clank basically, and it looks, like Ratchet and Clank outside, the big human characters,
That game does look
and
good.
I really want to play it. It's especially also because the Halo Mastery Collection really interests me too, because I unfortunately never got to play Halo 2. I had an Xbox, but my family, we really never played our Xbox because we usually played the GameCube and the PS2. So our Xbox usually got abandoned. Um, so I never really got to play Halo 2, and that's something that I would like to try out one day. Um, but the only thing that's really keeping me away from it right now is that just looking at Microsoft's history and Sony's history as well. While Microsoft usually comes out the gate, shooting and fighting, with a bunch of great games, and then like towards the middle of the gen downwards, like that spiral just goes downhill. There's like little to no games, and the only thing you'll hear about is maybe Halo at a conference, maybe Gears. They're reliable games. And also that's another thing that gets me hyped is the upcoming Gears, which they teased at E3. Um, whereas Sony, they're slow in the beginning, but towards the middle on down, they just come out shooting guns everywhere. You know, great game after great game after great game, and it doesn't take no further than the PS3 just to see that. And that's really the only thing that's really keeping me from buying a Xbox One or a PS3. And I'm just really debating whether or not I want either of them. Like right now, I'm happy with my Wii U, and that's all I've been playing outside of that and my Xbox 360. So that's just my take on PS4 versus Xbox One.
All right. What's next on the topic?
Not wait, Tim, did you want to add to that at all or anything?
No, we can move on.
All right.
All right, all right. So that was pretty much all the Xbox Microsoft news, and that came from TotalXbox.com. Moving on to the Microsoft PC news. Um, Trials Fusion will be getting an underwater DLC pack next month, and if you guys aren't familiar with Trials Fusion, it's basically like a motocross game where basically you do like cool tricks and stuff to get to the finish line. And it's getting a DLC pack where basically you're going to be underwater, and the DLC pack looks, pretty. It looks beautiful on PC from the screenshots that I saw. I don't know if if it's just from a maxed out PC or whatever, but it looks great. If you guys want to chime in on that at all, or we can just keep on moving.
Last time I played, or the first time I played Trials, it was a web game. Like it was something that you played on Newgrounds.com or whatever. They made a PC release. I don't know when, but and then it was all right. I'm not really big on Trials. I think there's a lot better clones out there, in my opinion. Um, although it's because the one I got was, excuse me, from a few years ago, and maybe I didn't give Fusion a good try. But I don't know. I really think that Trials is not a title that really appeals to me. Does it appeal to you, Mike, Timothy?
I haven't really actually got a chance to play Trials at all. I got to play the Imitation Trials on the 3DS. But no, for me, actually, Excite Bike all the way.
I got to play Trials on my Xbox 360, like when I first got it back in 2011, because it was like a free to play demo. And while I never, purchased the game, when I was playing it, I did enjoy playing it. But it wasn't anything that I would really thought I'd pay money for. But Trials Fusion looks beautiful on PC. So I just figured, since it looks so beautiful, and the Underwater DLC pack did look kind of interesting. I felt it deserved at least a mention.
What's the next
So
topic here?
anything you guys want to add to that, or just keep it moving?
Nah, let's keep it moving.
Um, Steam is getting a new update, which will make games much easier to find for the games you want. For example, let's say you buy Street Fighter 4 on a PC, and let's say you buy it for that, like say King of Fighters 13 or something like that. It'll give more suggestions of games that they feel that you would want, rather than being on the bottom, just random out of nowhere game that has nothing to do with anything that you like. So Steam's new update will make things much easier and more streamlined to find games that you will actually like, rather than games that you just are like that, whatever.
Well, that's a really good update. I think that like it honestly took them a while to do it. Facebook and Google have been telling us what we want to see forever. I'm surprised Steam is just finally implementing something like that onto their servers. I love Steam. I have a lot of Steam games. I think Steam is an amazing platform. Um, yeah, I love Steam. I don't think there's anything to add on top of this. Tim, anything you want to say about this, or should we go just jump on to the next thing here?
I've actually got a chance to use the Steam update that just got released. I personally, for most of the games that Steam recommended me, I myself, I don't know, I view it as one of those, unnecessary things that are just tagged on to Steam. Some of the recommendations it did give me were pretty quality, and I did add those to my wish list. So half and half is what I want to say. That I'm psyched that this kind of technology can be incorporated to Steam to give people more insight on what they want rather than what the collective wants.
Personally, I'm not much of a PC gamer, even though this coming holiday season I do plan on getting into more PC gaming, since I'll be getting a brand new PC rig, for my holiday gift. And once I get that, I'll be much more into Steam. Like, I can kind of play games on my laptop, like I was able to play Dishonored on like low settings, and I was able to play Borderlands a little bit on low settings. Overall, I do like Steam. They give you free games, to see if whether or not you like to, buy it, which is cool. So they're basically giving
Oh,
you,
free for weekend or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, a full weekend, basically a full game for the weekend. Basically renting it. That's great. There's games. I just get on there every weekend just to see, okay, what games are on there, just so I can try them out and see if I want to buy it. Like, I wasn't even interested in Dishonored that much until I played it on Steam, and I'm just like, I love this game. I gotta get it. And next time I go to GameStop, which will probably be Tuesday, I gotta pick up a copy of Dishonored. The game looks amazing. The game plays amazing, and I just love the game. 'Cause even on low settings on my laptop, it still looks pretty good. So shout out to Steam. I'll be, a part of the quote unquote PC master race later this year. So I'm excited for, you know,
The master race welcomes you. All right. So what's our next topic?
Triad Wars, which is the spiritual successor to Sleeping Dogs, which basically was Square Enix's answer to Grand Theft Auto. It'll be free to play on PC.
All right. I just wanted to like speed this up and wrap this up. I played I definitely played the Square Enix game. God, what was
Sleeping
the
Dogs.
spirit? What's the name again?
Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, that one. That one. Yeah, I played that Square. I spent about 40 hours on that. It was another GTA clone, but it was a really good GTA clone. It was really pretty, at least for the first 5 minutes. Then it became generic for the remainder missions. But I want us to just speed this up a bit. How many more topics do we got left?
1, 3.
Three?
No,
Okay.
yeah, 3.
Tim, you okay? Tim and Taz, you're okay to move on to the next one here?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Titan, which was Blizzard's upcoming game, recently got canceled, and it may have cost them $50 million.
Ouch. That sucks. Well, that's a drop in the bucket for Blizzard, to be honest with you. They make so much money because of World of Warcraft. It's incredible. Uh, that game has a huge following. It's amazing. Thankfully, I don't play it anymore, just because it takes up too much of my time. All right, next.
Personally,
Or
my
yeah, go ahead.
personally, I wasn't really excited for it at all because, like you said, they make so much money off stuff like Diablo and World of Warcraft. This was basically nothing to them, but it's still a lot of money. So the next one is an opinionated article from Push Squared, basically comparing the PS3 and the PS4, how much of a jump it truly is. And basically, the article talks about um, how slow the PS3 was, for loading times and updates, and how quote unquote rigged it was compared to the PS4, where now it's much more streamlined, much faster. It makes things a lot. If you guys have got to play a PS4, I'd like to know you guys' thoughts on that.
Um,
Um, Go on, Jason.
Honestly, I played the PS4 at GameSpot and or GameStop rather. Sorry, and honestly, it didn't really impress me all that much. Like loading times, yeah, sure, they suck, but they don't make or break the game. They don't make or break the system unless it's like really, really, really terribly long. I know it was often made fun of when it comes to comparing the N64 and PlayStation One, but it doesn't really matter too much to me.
All right. What about you, Tim?
I also have played
Tim?
the PS4, and
He's here. Go
I've
ahead, Tim.
also played the the PS4. I played 2 or 3 games at GameStop, and I enjoy what a good jump this console generation has for us, and the technology we have to play our games with. Um, Consoles are becoming way more like PCs now. And if anything, that's a really good thing because console gamers who don't want to pay that much for a expensive laptop or a mid-grade desktop will enjoy this because they'll be able to have the console experience and as well as the PC experience. Um, I read this article a lot, and not to ramble on, but I think you might miss the PS3 because the PS3 was groundbreaking for its time as well. Um, the PS4 is a really great addition to Sony's library of consoles, and I think it'll pave the way for the future of gaming. Lots of people think that a gaming crash will happen because consoles are becoming more like PCs, and there won't be much reasons to play consoles anymore. But I don't really see that happening too soon.
Me as well. I know, like, people are talking about how this can be the last gen, and I just think that's foolish. Consoles are never gonna die, in my opinion.
This is honestly going to be a topic that should be discussed at another time. We are pushing 2 hours now, or even past 2 hours, and this could go on for another 45 minutes just by talking about console theories and all that. Um, but in short, and this will probably be a preview for another time, but I actually think that the only kind of consoles you'll see in the future are the ones that have exclusives. Any of these third-party focused consoles are not going to cut it. The only reason why people will buy these machines is if they can't get it anywhere else. If they can't get games for that machine anywhere else. But that's really all I want to get into that right with that right there. What is that our final topic, or do we have one more?
We have one more, and we'll be done for the night. And it is basically the Eastern and Western cultural rift and how it affects gaming. We kind of discussed this earlier with the Bayonetta topic. So I mean, this is not really too much to talk about. Um, just to give quick credit to where we got it from, it's from modernwarnegro.com and his opinion section of his website. And basically, it just talks about how at Western companies and Eastern companies, in terms of gaming, how they see the business and they um, how they go about making their games, basically. And it's basically the same topic that gamers have been discussing for years. So I mean, personally, it's just I guess you could say it's preaching to the choir, but I just thought it may have been interesting to just say that it is very different, but I feel like since there's such a big cultural difference that we probably should know and respect each culture in terms of their gaming, in terms of gaming stories and such. Like people got offended. Well, a lot of people get offended. When different things are in a game that they feel shouldn't be in a game. Like in Tekken, for instance, there was a Islamic stage where on the bottom of the stage said Allah, but many people got offended by that stage, and they got it removed from the game,
Uh,
basically.
this should be its own video. This is a huge topic, and there's so many dimensions that should be talked about when it comes to something like this. We should probably set aside some time just to have a sole like a video dedicated to this story right here, because quite frankly, it yeah, it's just so much to talk about. I really do think we should wrap up at this point.
All right. That's pretty much all the topics for the day. Um, Jason, would you like to plug in anything? Any shout outs, any websites, any YouTube channels, anything?
Shout outs to the Dark Warrior for providing providing information on Bayonetta. Again, sorry that my research on the complete topic wasn't 100% during. I quickly just rectify any kind of issues with what I was saying. Anyways, thank you for watching. Um, Tim, you want to say your sign offs?
Yep. Thank you guys for watching from the Wii U Mad Facebook group. We'll see you back in approximately 2 weeks, and thank you for watching. A very heartfelt thank you.
All right, Tavis.
Uh, Join the Wii U Mad Facebook group. Subscribe to the Wii U Mad YouTube channel, and buy a Wii U.
Do it for yourself.
Yeah,
Don't do it because Tavis said so.
Hashtag support.
really. Yeah, really.
Hashtag support Nintendo.
No, do it because you want to. Do it because there's a lot of good games on there. Don't do it because we tell you to do it. So, anyways, all right. Thank you all for watching, and have a good evening.
Later, guys.
Later.
All right.